Well, welcome Vanguard faithful. Justin Burtis here with head coach Jesus Chuy Miramontes because it is time. Summer has flown by. Fall is upon us. The school semester is arriving. Students are moving in this weekend. And you, sir, have had your team in and for a different practice period, are finally practicing, but it's a bit different than last year because you're out in the Pac West. Sir, how has your summer been?
Summer's been good. You know, a lot of preparation going into obviously making a transition against Chuy in the Pac West. A lot more work to be done, and really kind of to prepare us, for what's next.
Talk a little bit about, from a coaching perspective, the change from the NAI offseason to this season. Last year, you probably have already had a game or two. You might have traveled in historically years past. You've traveled to Indiana or the South, played teams all over the place, and you have your first scrimmage as of recording today against Cal State LA, which means you have one more, and then it's the first game against Providence.
Yeah, and I think the preparation going into it's a little bit different. You're 100% right. I think us having to go back and, just to kind of make a name for ourselves every year and going back and playing against the Cumberlands and the Ohios and things like that across the NAI, it lets us prepare a little bit more because before we would have to just kind of really put everything into play from day one. Now it's a little bit more of a preparation for a longer preseason for us, and we're not having to get into everything right away. So it's able to us to drag it out a little bit. I'm not saying that we're not working hard, but at the same time, we get a couple of scrimmages to kind of see where we're at and kind of see where our mark's at, and then we can kind of go from there.
Let's talk a little bit about last season, last NAI Golden State Athletic Conference season, 9-2-6 overall, 5-1-1 in the GSAC. No real losing streaks. You only lost twice, but the loss at the end was probably the most bitter, a PK shootout loss to the Hope Royals in the GSAC tournament. What was it like last year in the ups and downs of that final NAI campaign?
It was definitely tough. I feel like we just got lackadaisical on two different occasions. Obviously, gave up a goal super late against Menlo to lose the conference, and then we gave up a goal, late in the game and conceded late against Hope as well to end up losing to them in PK. So just really kind of still kind of upset about those losses because we were heading in the first, against Menlo we were tied and that would have put us over the mark, and then obviously against Hope we were up 1-0 and we ended up losing that in PK. So a little frustrating, but I think guys kind of learned from that on the fact that you have to play 90 minutes. You can't play 85, you can't play 82. It's a 90-minute game, and good teams will punish you if you're lackadaisical or you fall asleep at times. So and I think that's something that we have to look out for this year is there's going to be no easy contest. Everything's going to be a battle. Everything's going to be a grind.
Speaking of that team from last year, you have most of that team back. You did lose a couple of important players after graduations and all that, but everyone else for the most part has come back, and you've got plenty of new incoming talent to kind of mix into that. So talk a little bit about recruiting, who's back, who's you're looking to integrate into the mix here.
Yeah, our whole back line is back, which is very, very good. We have obviously a couple of all GSAC players with JoJo Hernandez and Marcus Garcia in the middle of the park. But then the anchor of our back line with Slater and Cooper Clark, and then we have a 4-year starter at left back as well with Chris Sanchez. So we return a ton of guys, in the middle of the park with like I said, with Marcus and Zach in there as well. But then up top, let's see what we can do. With Bronco, being injured for a little while, let's see who picks up the pieces. But Sidney Dina's going to be Sid, and he's going to give people handfuls, and some of these new guys that are coming around, and we'll see where they're kind of at as well.
Who have you brought in?
Super excited about this freshman class. I really think it's probably one of the top classes that we've had. We brought in some very, very good talent, just some very good high soccer IQs and guys that just want to be here. I think with the likes of Adon Alvarado, I think he's going to be a big positive for us. We picked up a couple of kids from the Slammers with Sean M Henry Garcia, is a left back, and then Henry Garcia, which is one of our sixes. I think they're going to be very good. Then we brought in a couple of wingers, a couple of young wingers, and let's see if they can battle it out with some of these older guys that are here. But we brought in Danny Ariola and Alan Leon from Strikers as well. So we'll see where kind of these guys fit into this mix of this older crowd. So and that's going to be the tough part, is how to really kind of mesh those two together, because the young guys are there, they're poised, and they're ready to battle.
Who from the returners that are not that were not in the starting lineup last year have kind of taken a step up into this year?
Well, I think obviously Sid Medina did not start last year, but he really kind of played a huge role for us moving forward, like late in the season, and he was an absolute handful. I think he's going to be huge for us this year. And DJ Kieran, he's always just kind of like that steady Eddie type of guy. He does what's asked of him. He works super hard, and every single year, he's just gotten better. And I think he's gonna have a really breakout year this year. So super excited for him. Just to throw in there as well. We got a couple of transfers as well that I'm super excited about. One of them obviously being Ben Sieber from Tribeca. Back in Tennessee, and he's ready to go. He'll be in the starting lineup tonight. And then obviously Aiden Hay, our goalkeeper, from Cal Baptist, our transfer. So he's going to be big. He'll really him and Alex Felix will kind of battle it out, just kind of see who's our number one, and really see where we're at.
I was going to ask you about the goalkeeping battle, but you've already checked that box off. So coaching 101 right there.
Yeah, absolutely. So both of those guys kind of came in really refined right now, and we're happy to kind of have Aiden on board, and I think Alex is gonna push him and kind of see what he's made of. So I'm just excited about that spot. And we have a couple of young guys that are still there battling it out as well. With Juan, and we brought Noah in as well as our other goalkeepers as well. So. But yeah, I think we're ready.
What's it like having a guy like Austin Tubbs back on the roster for his 5th year after he has gone through a lot with this program? And what does he bring to not just the field, but also to the bench area? As the team, not like sitting on the bench.
Yeah, no, but he's a warrior. He's a guy that's really, over the years, just kind of, has done everything that's been asked of him from us within the program. He's a guy. He's a team guy. Last year he was an absolute monster for us in the air. Like he's going to be one of the best guys in the air. So he brings so many qualities to us, and just that grit and that grind that we need on the field. And you need those guys to battle it out. I mean, he did an awesome job last year, and I can't wait for him to kind of get in some of these games and just kind of have an impact of what he can do this year.
Well, you're going to need everybody you can get, because it is a long conference season. Opening against Providence Christian, then 2 games, and you're already into Pac-West play. So the pre or non-conference season is from here down to here. Talk a little bit about the Pac-West. Who is looking good? What have you heard? And what are your expectations for how play will be once you kick off?
Well, it's going to be interesting. I think it's going to be interesting because obviously we know that with over the years in the GSAC that when we were there with all those teams, that we've had some great rivalries with the Biolas, with the Concordias, with the Azuzas. So those rivalries are going to kind of start being back in play. And then obviously the GSAC rivalries of us and Westmont over the years. But I also think that the 3 teams that are coming in this year are good teams. I mean, Jessup had a great season last year. They're really improving up there. He's done a great job. And Menlo's.
We know what Menlo and Vanguard has been the past few years.
Menlo's good. He'll have them ready to go. So we're bringing in 3 good teams from the GSAC, and Westmont represented the GSAC very well last year, coming in second. So we'll see what the Pac-West is about. I think it's really gonna elevate the level, and it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be a grind. From 1 through 14 is going to be tough to play. So
when was the last time you saw 14 teams on your conference slate there?
Yeah. I mean the travel. The away trips. I mean all those are gonna be tough on some people. And like I said, I mean I don't think it's I think we're going to be right there with some of the best conferences across the nation at the Division II level. So excited about it.
Was there any correlation that you could see between Westmont last year and your team this year? Is that just what they were able to put together, knowing that they were going into Division II? Do you think you could replicate that, or?
I personally think we can have a good run. I think we're so, we have so many older guys. We're going to start probably, 8 to 9, juniors, seniors. So I think those guys that have been through the battles, and some of these guys have been, have gone to the, NAIA national tournament. They're sophomore and junior years, so we're back-to-back tournament champions. So they know what's expected of them, and they're not going to be intimidated by it because, coming into this, we've been into those battles, and we've been through the trenches with, going back and playing some of these teams that are very difficult at the NAIA level. So I think these older guys are really ready. The question is, hopefully we can prepare those younger guys to be ready to go into battle, and that's going to be the question of it. Can we prepare them enough? Because it's a completely different ball game now that they're playing at the collegiate level than it is playing at the U18, U19 club level.
And off of that a little bit, is there any stylistic differences that fans would notice in the Division II schools? I of course, spent some time in the Midwest with NAIA soccer. You brought in a lot of international, so there's a way different dynamic than the GSAC, which I can't talk about global reputation, but around here is a bit more of a physical game. So do you think that continues? Is it a little more balanced?
I think it's just going to go from program to program. I mean, some are going to be a little bit more direct-minded, and some are going to be a little bit more possession-minded. But it's going to be like that throughout the nation. I think just depending on the style of the coach, and ultimately we're here to win. So we've got to find a way to win games, whether that is keeping the ball the whole time, or whether that's playing direct and going route one. Ultimately, at the end of the day, you want to make playoffs, and you want to be able to get your chance into the tournament. Obviously, we don't have that capability this year.
Can't get in there this year, but
that's ultimately your goal, right? Is to win games, and to make sure that you put yourself in the best spot possible in order to get into the tournament.
Even if you finish third or fourth, that would be a success and would probably do a ton for the players that would be coming back for the next year.
Yes, and that's kind of our ultimate goal. Can we fit in somewhere, right? Can we find ourselves in the mix? In the mix. We said if we were eligible to get in, would we be getting in the playoffs this year? And that's our ultimate goal, and that's kind of our what we're looking for. But at the same time, we're coming to be like, the only championship we can have, the only success we can have is having a regular season championship. So that's kind of their goal, especially as seniors, because I think starting 8 or 9 seniors, I think they're poised and ready to do it. And things, you got to have things fall your way. I mean, bounces got to fall your way, calls got to go your way, or and everybody has those 1 or 2 swing games that you're like, oh, we should have won that one and we didn't win it, or vice versa. We should have won that one and we ended up winning it. So that's just soccer. You have to have 1 or 2 swing games that kind of go your way, and and see where you're at the end of the day. So we're excited about it, and hopefully we can end up in the top echelon of this Pac West, and there's some good teams out there. There really is. There's some phenomenal teams, and I think we're ready and we're loaded and we're ready to go to battle, man. I honestly truly think that this group of seniors is there, and we'll see what God has in plan for us.
Well, we hope it is off to a rousing success in the Pac West. Have to wait a little bit before that Pac West competition starts, but Providence Christian will be your first game, a foe that we've played a few times around here. There's a little bit of NAIA nostalgia for your first content. So folks, September the 6th, 4:30 out on the VU soccer field. See Coach Miramontes and his charges as they start the 2024 fall season. And a couple weeks later, they will get Pac West play underway. Justin Burtis here, Coach Miramontes, thank you so much. Best of luck this season, and we will be seeing plenty of hopeful successes out there on the soccer field this year.
Thank you.